kids are probably saying to yourselves, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get the world by the tail and wrap it around and pull it down and put it in my pocket. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're probably going to find out as you go out there that you're not going to amount to jack.
Hey, it's Brian Stevens with How to Influence. Here on this channel, we really are focused on one thing: to teach you to better connect and communicate to persuade others, and especially larger groups. Today, we're going to cover a topic that's been real heated over the last few weeks in our office and at some public speaking engagements that I've attended to. So let's get into it. So this topic, 4 of the biggest public speaking mistakes that we've seen, comes from a lot of years of me speaking all around the country and even in a few other countries. And I realize I've been doing this for decades now, and that's a little freaky, but I got into a real great discussion argument at the last conference I spoke at with some people. It's like, what are the attributes of great speakers? But what are the 4 common barriers that stop it? Well, we didn't start off with 4, but we ended up with 4. So here they are, right? Number one is too many people are focused on themselves and not the audience, not the people they're speaking to. And this is really hard to do because I know you're nervous. You're nervous about if you're sweating. Is your zipper down, right? Are you going to make good impact? Are they going to think well of you? Well, the problem is all that is internally focused, and people will feel that you're more focused on your performance instead of the message that you're delivering to them. So let me show you one dude that doesn't care what people are thinking about him, but he delivers like this awesome message. All right. So clearly he is a performance speaker. He is going to get your attention, and he got it, man. Look, I've seen his speech. It's good. It's a Toastmasters thing. And so people are like really taught to overcome their fears and their concerns. And those are always like great things to go do. But the issue is, are you willing to put on tighty-whities in front of an audience? And I tried something like this years ago where I went down in front of a group of several hundred people, and I had my zipper purposely down and my dress shirt tucked out just a little bit. Nothing was being exposed, but I needed the point of the speech is that the point of that particular speech was people will be nice to you, but not kind. Like, how many people were going to point out that I had my zipper down, right? Not many. And everybody saw it was down because I saw people look at it and then they look away. But anyway, that was that particular speech. But I had to get over my concern of looking like an idiot for about 30 minutes before the speech. And then I walked up on stage with my zipper down, and people were dramatic. You could tell they were trying not to look. And finally, I acknowledged it. And I think about another episode I had where I had the back of a wall of windows, and the sun was baking. I was pouring sweat. And I got very self-conscious. I was very focused on myself, and I stopped delivering a powerful message. I stopped caring about the audience and what they were getting out of this. I was concerned about my sweat stains, and it was gross, man. Like, there's no getting around it. So I had to reset, and I said, I'm not delivering a good message. So I stopped. And this was not a big group, about 30 to 40, I think. And I stopped and I said, we got to acknowledge the fact that I'm a human being. I'm sweating because I'm really focused on this right now. I'm not focused on you. So everyone have a chuckle. And that took years to develop. But I promise you, if you are focused on their needs and stop worrying about what you look like, stop worrying about how you behave, just focus on the message. Focus on what you want to provide to them. What are they leaving with? If your goal is to make them leave with a powerful message or a powerful story, you're going to crush it. You're going to do great. But the minute you go, I want them to really think highly about me, you're self-focused and you're going to kind of wobble and make a lot of kind of mistakes. So number one, focus on them and not yourself. It takes a lot of work, but start practicing it like ASAP. Number two, speakers amnesia. You probably heard me talk about this before. It's, for some reason, we know as an audience member what we like and we don't like from speakers. But then we get up in front of that lectern or on the podium, we get a mic and cameras in front of us, and we've forgotten what it's like to be an audience member. And certainly you'll hear a lot of other speaking classes, and they'll say, you need to end on time, for sure. You need to know your subject matter, for sure. You don't need to do insider jokes, sure. Those are all tactical issues that you've done because you're violating Rule 1 and Rule 2. 1, you're focused on yourself and your insider jokes. And 2, you've forgotten what it's like to be an audience member and not to get insider jokes. And nobody likes to run long when you're an audience member. Nobody said, I want 3 more hours of Brian Stevens. It's never occurred. What they want is to end on time and get on with their lives. And you can't forget that when you get in front of the microphone. So really, write down some notes before you go up and say, what do I really dig about public speaking? And you're not going to write down going long. And you're not going to write down the speaker got on a tangent, like they got on some rabbit hole of some side discussion that has nothing to do with their topic. And one story for you, one story is, I remember I was really excited when I was in law school, and I was going to go see the speaker, and it was all about this murder conviction case, and I can't remember what side he was on, but whatever. I wanted to see the speaker because it was a really interesting topic at the time. And he gave us a speech that had nothing to do with the murder trial, which had nothing to do with why we're there. And he talked about, I don't know, how to tie a tie or a shoelace or something stupid like that. That's not why I showed up, man. You played clickbait on me. You hid the peg under the shells and you suckered me into the wrong speech. So I, as an audience member, despise him for that. And so I don't care that he was bored with that subject. He got speaker's amnesia. He thinks we came to hear him. He was focused on himself. Yes, he was violating both these rules, and he didn't deliver what we came for. So don't get speaker's amnesia. Remember what it's like to be an audience member, and you're going to start to fix some of these little issues that came up. Number three is you got to be you. You've got to be you. You can't be somebody else. And I want you to be authentic to who you are, and you can't duplicate what other people have done if that's not true to yourself. So let's watch the best speech ever.
Party Executive Committee, good evening, and thank you not only for your attendance, but for allowing me the opportunity to speak. My name is Phil Davison, and I am seeking our party's nomination for the position of Stark County Treasurer on November 10th, November of 2010, excuse me. In terms of my background, I am from the village of Minerva, where I'm serving my 13th year of elected service as a Minerva Council member. In terms of education, I have a bachelor's degree in sociology, a bachelor's degree in history, a master's degree in public administration, and a master's degree in communication.
Yeah, you just said he had a master's in communication? No, he doesn't. I looked him up. So this dude's running for some political office, and I guess he saw some speeches that fired up the crowd. And if you're running for office, it's always fun to fire up the crowd. It's always fun to get him motivated and excited. He's trying to be somebody he's not. I don't know if he's an egghead and a super nerd. I don't know if he's a super passionate guy. I don't know if he's funny. I do know that he's trying to pretend to be something else because none of it connects. He's clearly, the title is The Worst Speech Ever. Kind of agree. It's one of the worst speeches ever. Maybe not the worst. I can think of worse. But it is an awful speech because he's so angry. So look, if you're funny, you can be lightly funny. If you're an egghead, you're a nerd, you're a data dude, do that. Bake into that. Don't be a statistician and try to be funny. It never comes off real. And here's the secret. You're awesome. You're great. You're everything you need to be to get over these little common mistakes in public speaking and to crush it. But you've got to crush it in your way. Don't try to be somebody that you're not, man. own it. Now, look, you could certainly be too data heavy if you're a data person. You could certainly try to be too cutesy and too funny if you're a funny person. You got to soften the edges a little bit for sure. That'll come from practice. But be you. All right. Number 4. Again, number 4. All right. So the fourth thing is people focus too much on the start and not the end of their speech. You're nervous. I get it. You're practicing. You've got your little notes. You're ready to go. And you focus on the start and you practice and you practice and you practice. And that's what you should do. You should practice. Like that's a big mistake too. Not for today's video. But, oh, by the way, if you don't agree with these, comment below, dig in. I'd love to hear some of the other common mistakes that you've got. I'd love to know. I mean, I'm always trying to learn and get better at this too. So go and hit the like button if you're still paying attention, subscribe, do all that stuff. But really comment on other mistakes you've seen people do. I'm really curious. But I know that people practice too much on the start because they're really ready to start off well, but they don't practice the end. And the end is what people remember the most. Now, the start is to hook the audience. You got to come out there and put your underwear on and get attention. But the end of his speech is what really gets that lasting long-term memory of the person. So people will remember two things about a speech: the high point and the end. Creating the high point is a difficult thing. It'll come out in your writing for sure, or your pre-planning, but it's typically not the start. So I want you to start well, but when you're practicing, go all the way to the end and sometimes start in the middle and just practice the last half of your speech, not the beginning, because you want to end just as well as you start. There's an old thing in the military is you can't just shine the front of your shoes. You got to shine the back of your shoes too, because that's what they see when you're walking away. So look, the 4 biggest mistakes that I see today, and I want to hear your views on this, is 1, you're focusing on yourself, not enough on what you're delivering to them. Number 2, we forget what it's like to be an audience member. Don't forget that. Don't get speaker's amnesia. Ugh. Number 3, be you. Be authentic to you. And just own it. You're cool, man. You're going to work. Lots of different type of speakers out there, man. You'll find your audience. You'll find your niche. And number 4, focus on the whole speech, not just the beginning. And when you practice, really practice that middle and the end also, because that's just as valuable to be invited back. Hey, I'd love to hear your comments. I dig this. I'm going to keep doing it, even if nobody's watching right now. But I'm going to require my daughter to watch it. So, hey, thanks for watching. Bye.